Rahman Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إنك جميع الناس اليوم لا ريب فيه إن الله لا يخلف الميعاد. Alhamdulillah. Today we're going to deal with a subject, let's call it a breakthrough in planetary thinking. A breakthrough in planetary thinking. This is not them, this is us. Because we during this period we're gonna deal with inshallah a new mission statement. Not only a mission, what is our mission, but a vision statement. What do we want to look like during this period? The only holdup is that there's a few things that are happening so fast, that so that's why we're taking our time a little bit on the mission statement and the vision statement. The mission statement is definitely what we are to do. But the vision statement is what we want to look like. When other people look at us, what do we want to look like to them? And also, what do we want to look like to ourselves? See, a lot of people have this vision statement is what you want to look like. No, it's not only when people look at us, what do they want to see? Or what do they see? Because I've had brothers say, man, the brothers all up there in black, that look. See, that was a time when that was a serious picture. And that's the picture that we wanted to give at that time. A picture of discipline, organization, a picture of we're ready to contribute on any level. That's why it seemed like that for our status, some of the brothers wanted to know why we didn't demand more time on the speaker's platform. Because we would speak, but sometimes it's a big demonstration, we would do 5 minutes. The last big one downtown, that was no more than 5 minutes, right? When we told the people you want to learn a slogan that 1.5 billion people will love you if you say it. And everybody said, yes. And I said, well, I'm going to say a phrase. It's a takbir. It's called Allahu Akbar. When I say Allahu Akbar, or when I say takbir, you say Allahu Akbar. And I'm telling you, all them white folks there, they takbir better than the Muslims did. And no, if they knew what they were saying, if they remember, on the day of judgment, they may not have no good. And then that one statement, Allah may say, yeah, one time you said I was the greatest. That's enough to get you in, for them. I mean, I'm just ad-libbing a little bit. But you never know. Hey, man, we did that 3 times. That's the same time we had the meeting. I think the lady, Susan Sarandon was there, because she was sitting right there on the steps. And that's the same time we had all them buckets and things of money. And Everybody was going, there's 500,000 people there. So if everybody gave $1 a piece, now somebody said it was 21 buckets. Was it that many buckets? All they did, they put them, the white people went and collected money from all the other people, and they came and they set the buckets right by there. And I said, ho, 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 ho. Because we were at, security was what our thing was. So security meant technically we managed the stage, we kind of helped the flow of the crowd. And that means if we handle the stage, that means we handle, everybody that come up, they're going to have to go through us. So back to the thing about how much time you get on the platform, if we managing the stage, technically we're managing the program. Right? If we managing the stage in a demonstration, you managing the program, you managing the flow of the program, you're managing everything. And everybody else, the coordinators, all of that, at that time, they're a part of the program. They're not running anything. You see what I mean? They could come up to us and say, hey, we want you to let so-and-so come up on the stage. Okay. So technically, this is what I mean is the people don't know how to locate themselves strategically. You know, and the other thing is we're there in black uniforms and we look like Muslims. And if we get 5 minutes, that's plenty of time. Why? We get a message out there and then boom, everybody's looking at us and they remember. I remember one demonstration, they're handing babies up to us. You remember that? So they could take pictures of their babies, us holding their babies. You know what I mean? That they was there, see the baby. There's all kind of stuff. We had a certain relation. Now, the people that thought they was using us, they didn't get it. Marty Bray and all of that, and if you ask anybody that came to one of those demonstrations, let's say 20 years ago, like that, they won't remember nobody but us. Right? They didn't remember nobody but us then. And they were saying the men in black, man, that's a big statement. Some of the other Muslims that was aware, they're saying, hey man, that's a big statement. You know, it was a presentation. Our being there, our being authoritative, and our being and managing it well. Unbelievable. So when we made that statement about the takbirs, they was taping that and sending it all over. That was going all over the country at least. They had WPFW there. They had a whole line of radio stations over there. And all of it was being broadcast, and of course they had 50 million cameras. Okay, so all of it was big record. Right now, if they were to record, that was during the era of demonstrations, when the Muslims was feeling a little bit of Cheerios, light Cheerios. That was pre 9/11, and they was rah rah rah. After Boss Man started coming down, that was it. That's why they just stopped. They said, we quit, freeze. I mean, they quit in a hurry. Within a year or two, we went from getting 500,000 people down there to the last demonstration, maybe 5 or 10 people. And the recent ones, we went to some of them, the Palestinian thing. They bust all of them in. We didn't see but 3 or 4 people from around here, right? All those people were bust. And it was not memorable. It was nothing, the issue was a good issue, Palestine, but it wasn't memorable. And the speakers, we was about 150 yards from the speakers and couldn't even tell who was speaking. If they were speaking, we could look and see that somebody is making noise. Okay, we didn't do that type of thing. The second thing on that was the issue of money. You could tell that Answer and all those people, they had big funding. Because at that demonstration, or the one before that, the guy just died. He was Attorney General. Ramsey Clark was it. That was a tip-off that he was. Anyway, they hold that. So, okay, it's no, once Attorney General, always Attorney General, that type of thing. But it's okay. It's no problem. They got their hook with that depleted uranium thing in Iraq years ago. Okay, but yeah, that was it. That was their thing. Brian Brecker's brother too was out there, and all of those people, they had a standard cast of characters. If they wanted a Negro speaker, preacher, that they had a preacher, and he'd get up there. He had a beard. You'd think he was a Muslim. Not going to say anything more because there's a 2% chance they might be real. At least 2% chance that they might be real. But the people they hang around with is what put the other 98% that don't look real. It looked like a cast of characters. One of the things that it takes for us is when you look at everything that's going on, you see a cast of characters. Everybody is playing a part, it looks like, for Boss Man. I'll mention in a little while, but there's on Press TV, there's a young white lady that's going on, what's the thing they doing, right? Arba'in. Arba'in, she's from Northern Virginia. She's out there, and they're doing a whole series on her. She's narrating about what she came to Islam. That is direct Margbag America, 1,000%. And you know what Margbag America said to me once the last time that I put my hands on anybody, was Imam so-and-so over there at Dar al-Hijra. He walked up to me. He must have thought that he was friendly to me. He put his hands on my chest and said, "We had big plans for you." I looked at him. You some stupid people. He's saying what they had for me to do their bidding. You were going to be the star. I was already pretty. We had big plans for you. I didn't tell them that, hey, your plans? Because when I came here, they noticed when we was doing the Masjid over there, and they was helping. So at that time, he knew a lot about fixing stuff and putting stuff together. So he said he needed to get some material. So I just went to account and took about $10,000 out, and I gave it to him. Okay, I was to get the material for the masjid and stuff. So I was staying out there with him on the farm. I got a farm, 32 acres. And so I was staying out there, basically by myself, of course. And I was getting my books together, all the things that I, was doing at that time. So anyway, when I did that, it let him know this nigga is different. He's staying out here like he's a pauper or something, and because he think he's doing me a favor. I don't have a place to stay, and that if you were to check, he's the one that got the white girl on the thing. He piped in. He piped all the way in. He been piped in since the early 70s, and almost he's been here since day one, when it was no difference between Sunnis and Shias and all that. Yeah, he's a Shia, but he was writing stuff on Sunniism and everything. So Magbag America, when I came here, at first he was doing me like what he thought, that I was what I appeared to him as a Negro. I'm coming from California. I want to get this stuff done, da-da-da-da. He don't remember when I picked him out. I picked him across. They got a parking lot out there at IEC. I came here to give a speech in 1984. And I looked across the thing and I said, that's him. I picked him out. Mike Bagamrika, I picked him out. Before anything, just the way he was talking. And oh boy, I saw what happened to the Negroes here. How did they get, you got to find out what happened to DC. It had that great opportunity. He was one of the main things. How did he bring people to Shiism, the Negroes to Shiism? And that caused a big rift. If they was going to be Shia, they could use Taqiyya. They don't have to come out, and say it. You know what I mean? Anyway, so when I'd be out there with him, now I have a thing that I've been had a thing that the people rub your back and tell you how much they like you. From the Jahiliyyah, that's a sign of good God Almighty. And I've had some of the ulama do that to me, and I said, oh man. That's a sign that they're getting ready, they're looking for a place to stick you in the back. That's from Jahiliyyah. That's from being able to survive. You got survival instincts. When you're out there, they get, and there's certain things people do. You don't say, hey man, you getting ready, but And the same thing with some people that was so-called, one of the big officials, we had a program in Tehran with all the people that used to be over here, and he was one of the best known out of them. And I was speaking, Muhammad Al-Asi was speaking, because we was the last two that was still around. And when he introduced me, he said, they had a couple of questions. One of the questions was, they said, Muhammad Al-Asi says that the U.S. will attack Iran. What do you say? I said, they ain't gonna do nothing. They're not gonna, I said they want to, but they got a bind. And I said, y'all got a protection on you. I said, you got a jinx on on America. And you don't know you got a jinx on them. You got a jinx on them. That's what I told them this is a big meeting over there. I say, you got a jinx on America. And they don't know that you got a jinx on them. And you don't know you got a jinx on them. You done jinxed them. So you can call it voodoo, whatever you want. I said, they got it, and they got it bad. I said, they caused the trouble that they caused you during the war, which this is an anniversary of the war. Yesterday was the 22nd, I think. Yeah. Some say it was the 20th. Some say it was the 22nd when Iraq invaded Iran. That was a mighty time. But the point I'm making is this, is that just like Iran have had a jinx on America for all those times, since those days, it appears that Iran paid its price during the Gulf War, those 8 years. Now remember, 1 million men is dead and all that wasn't, it ain't no joke. If you could see, they got a group of books called the Gulf, what not they call it, the Gulf, Imposed War. You'll see people with paste on their face from that poison gas. Remember, they're the only people that poison gas have been used on them in that number since World War I. And you see them with plastic suits on. The only thing about a plastic suit is this, is that you can't wear it in Basra because the temperature is 120 degrees average. Yes, it does get 115. Yeah, and it gets 123 and 20. But that's when you look at the temperature at that time of the year, they can't wear it because plastic. I wear plastic, used to wear plastic all the time running, but I would leave this uncovered, it just covered here to there. They had it over their heads. 30% of your heat goes out. 30% of your heat goes out through your head. You know what I mean? So if you exercising and you cover your head with that hood, that's what's gonna keep a lot of your sweating, because if your head is exposed anyway, they didn't have a chance, and the UN didn't even censure them. They said in some letter in 82, 83, somebody's using poison gas, so you don't have to worry about the UN. The other thing is us here. We've had to, the strategic behavior that we have been participating in is good behavior. I mean, it's good, thought out behavior. It's no joke. Whatever other people think, we think it's excellent. We think that we've analyzed everything over the years, and that at each stage that we've been involved in this, and just doing this section has been 40 years, 40-something, 42, 3 years. During this section alone, each stage has been very important. And not only important, but we here can analyze how accurate have we been. Just Adua, oh Allah, help us make fun of boss man, make a fool out of him, discombobulate him. Oh Allah, discombobulate. Allah know what discombobulation is because He the one taught it to you. So, whatever you mumbling and other people don't know. And I want to ask y'all, let's call him for now, the white man, has he been discombobulated? Totally. It's beyond what I asked for. I was just asking, just have people get a few laughs out of him, and that. This boy can't do nothing right. And he's accelerated. I thought, well, after the airport thing and the shooting the missile, I thought he's gone. Then he's doing exactly what we prayed for. Oh, Allah, have him, Don mess up the Republican Party. Oh, no, look like Don gonna mess up America. He did. Don did it. This stuff we said right here, right? And then, oh my goodness, I'm telling you, you could get arrogant, you could get arrogant. You could start talking like, yeah, Allah on my side. Boy, look at here. Allah got his niggas back. And when Allah got your back, you don't have to, it would make you, I'm telling you, our record, our forecasting has been so accurate that it seemed like that they cooperating or something. Something is good. But it's more accurate. When you get old, your senses get a little dull and you start, if you could hit the basket 30 times in a row, now you're doing all right, but you get down to 20, 15, you know what I mean? And you're still all right, but you're getting off. That's not happening. It's getting so accurate. It's unbelievable. And not only accurate in the things that are happening, but the things that you're asking about. Oh Allah, discombobulate boss man, make a fool out of him, so everybody will laugh at him. All of those things, y'all done heard that. It's all on there. And every now and then I think about it. I say, good God Almighty. That's why we pause sometime on what day we're going to have a program. I said, we ought to wait a minute because this stuff, we was going to do something the other day and we're going to wait. We said, no. It comes back like this. If those people, whether they're in Canada or where, don't see what's going on now, that's all right. Forget them. Hey, if if everybody that can hear what we've been talking about and they hear it and they still running around, or they still, going through their thing, or they still have confidence in boss man, and they have confidence in boss man's system, it's hilarious. It's beyond me but you got to remember, that's why this is a religious, cultural type of a thing, and it has history mixed up in it because it has a whole historical, religious context to it. Because the same thing we're doing is the same thing that all the people, it ain't going to come no prophets or messengers because the book is still here, right? So we don't need to come in. But the life of those people, the same thing that they was telling the people, think about it, because it would be mujaddids and I'm going to claim me a title after a while, heavyweight champion, mujaddid, divine reminder, something like that. Not really, because the Negroes, I knew he was going to go off. But tell the truth, if anybody else in America was hitting this thing like we are and taking all the little stuff, the stuff boss man do, we just sit there and laugh at it. Boss man, you're not messing with the car again. And the Negroes come by, I want to pick your car, then you take it down, then you drive it around the block. Oh, this is fine. Then you drive it up the street and it stopped working. I said, this is happening. This is the 50,000th time. It doesn't make any difference. It's just that somebody's not learning. It ain't like, so all I did, I said, shoot, I'll just catch the bus out to California. I might hitchhike. I could do what I want. I don't care. And I'm thinking that I might do that because if I walk out of the house at 1:30 in the morning and I zip around the block or anything, here come boss man. He'll go into a panic. If I'm running on a trail in California, even here, every now and then, I'll just run off in the woods, off the trail. And everything from helicopters, where that nigga go? That's not what they're saying, but that's where all of a sudden the whole thing, and I do it just to have fun. I do it right here, running right over there. Sometimes we have a whole lot. They be measuring what kind of, is he running most of the time? Is he running and walking? Is he just strolling and enjoying it? What is he doing? And they got it timed. If he gets here in this much time, he's doing a little running. And you just have fun. I'm telling you. See, this is the things that you have to do. You don't have to do them. But remember, the system is skilled with harassing people, running people crazy, you know what I mean, and making them quit, making them give up. They have done that with everybody. I haven't seen, they have not failed on that. Well, because that's the way everybody's acting. Or it would be some of them coming by saying, yeah, man, we what you doing. Because they can't be looking at what we're doing and saying, that show ain't right, man. They got to be, if they listen a little bit, they got to be picking up that, wait a minute. I don't know much, but I know that's halfway right. And as far as forecasting, because they got a whole team of like they got their stars and all of that. And they got, one, like Mellow Yellow, whichever Mellow Yellow I'm talking, he may be the diplomatic, the mature analyst, spokesman. And so he speaks that he used to go to American University. That's a dead giveaway. It ain't no big deal. It's not a big deal. And I met him. He was working with, what's the name over in Baltimore? The Pakistani guy. His daughter comes by every now and then. They got a New Trend magazine. Yeah, he was with Kochab Sadiq back in the 70s and 80s. He was in the 70s and 80s. And I used to see him all over. And I liked him. I liked the way he spoke. And I liked, and I went up to visit him up there and whatever he is up there in New England. And stayed with him. They got a Masjid al-Islam too, and all that stuff. So I like the guy, and so did all the other people. But what I kept running into is a behavior pattern, which I don't have time to go into. I'm gonna get back to. So we had mission statement. Every group should have a clear mission statement, about what they want to do, and a vision. How will people see us when they look at us? That's what we're talking about. When people see us, what will we look like to them? Okay, there's already a picture of us that the people have. And you could tell how they view, the people. I mean, even the people, some of them are pretended, but when they look at us, they know whatever we're doing, it's not that real, and whatever they're doing, that's the real thing. They know it. I just walked into, when they used to have the cultural, not whatever they call that, sitting around the Masjid, Muhafiz was there one night. They had a program on Saturday night and Sunday night. They wanted me to speak on Sunday night. So I decided to go Saturday night. When I walked in the door, right around the corner, everybody from decades ago was there. All the Negroes that knew better. They knew better. And I walked in, I looked at them, and I looked at Muhafiz sitting right there. I thought he was going to pee on himself. Because that's what, where your knees go in like this. And that's what I just said. Don't urinate on yourself there, brother. It's no big deal. And then here come the weasel man. I wanted you to come tomorrow night. That's when you're going to speak. I just come by, so not welcome. I just looked at everybody. I mean, everybody from the old days that know better. Some of the people from Masjid Muhammad, some of the people who were school principals, everybody was there. People who was living out in Gaithersburg, pretending to be Shias or whatever they were, all of them. See, when I came here, I looked at the patterns. When I came here in 1989, everybody was in transition. They didn't expect me to come here. Or they didn't expect anybody to come here that's coming to look and put everything together. And it took me 25, 30 minutes to put it all together, at least. But I'm not, but that don't mean that you act off of it. You got to give people time. So, but after several years, it was clear. If somebody when they come, I'd know. I just, hey, how you doing? And then but it was clear who they was. And hindsight, I was 99% point something or other accurate. This is just an opinion, it's okay. Okay, mission. This is a new era. Remember the words, some of the core words we always use: transition, transformation, and transcendence. Transition is like what this movement goes through. When we started out, now this includes our Jahiliyyah period, transition from black, not black mafia, because black mafia, boy, but they wasn't nice guys. But type of black mafia, but packed with love and compassion for your people. In other words, I was talking to one of the people in our organization, number 2, he just passed away, he was number 2. And I said, we never beat nobody up. We never even, can you imagine the way niggas do nowadays? We never even beat nobody up. And we was in a game that calls for people to be doing stuff, but then people didn't do too much. There was a better group of people. Now, right after that, good God Almighty, they just was. Anyway, transition, transformation is when you yourself not only made a transition, but it's a transformation. It's a change. And transcendence is definitely where we are now. Transcendence means that there's nothing that has enough gravitational pull to hold us down. Absolutely nothing. To the point of boss man technically is a dummy. And no, you don't read no black literature. Nobody's ever gotten to that point where they sit and give a lecture constantly on how stupid boss man is. Everybody better watch yourself, man. They the white man, he'll do this. He don't do nothing. And that's what we have done. That means that it don't make no difference how everybody else look at it. It's what we know. We make our analysis and our strategy and our commentary is based on where we are. And so far, it's not too bad. And it's not a new phenomenon. It's been going on all the time, except now it's getting more accurate. It's getting more accurate. And we'll do what we want to do when we want to do it. That includes going to California. That means getting our $200 million. And if you keep on, we're just going to ask for 300, you know. And the things that we got on the schedule, you got to remember, all the things that we want to do, and we really want to do them, we make a statement about what we want to do. Now, just try to picture how fast things are happening right now. So if last summer, or not even that long ago, we wanted to go around to black colleges, and that's a wonderful thing. We will still do that, but we'll do it when we want. We don't have to do it next week. Are getting these big army posts, or whatever they used to call them, and filling them up with homeless people. I don't know why they don't do it now. The government got all those old military bases. No, but they can get the people. See,
I know what you're saying.
They would have to clean up the bases. Yeah.
Well, like some of because I did some research.
Right.
A lot of those army bases may have some radio.
Right, stuff like that. Right.
And they got to clean up.
Right. Like the old military shells they would find around D.C. from 1918, right up there in the Northwest.
Right.
Yeah.
And some, they have done things with them as far as, sold them to the city and built condos on.
Right.
But for the people that really need it.
Right. But that's another thing. People are always talking about this is going to be that for the people. But I think we're the only ones that want to do it really for the masses and for their, okay. But now remember, if you want to do a good deed, you get a reward for it anyway. And if you can't do it, if you do it, you get from 1 to, I don't know how many thousands or hundreds, because you did it. So the things that we want to do, we feel that the world is moving so fast that like we have to pause right now. Like sometimes when we say let's wait till tomorrow to have a program, that means we just want to wait the news cycle to see how it's going to be portrayed. You know what I mean? We already have an idea. But so we're not controlled by them or that. We're going by our internal clock. Okay. Remember, As-Sabiqun, those who lead the way and those who show the way. Corporate and coordinated global rescue movement or mission. This has been in our literature for years, over a decade, easy. About a global, we want to make environmental friendly world, you know what I mean, and all that. That's our intention also. So we believe that if we want to do something and we really want to do it and something is preventing us from doing it, at that time we still get the reward for wanting to do it. This is what the hadith say. We had an intention. This is our intention to do that. Okay. There's another thing that's going on in what we're dealing with. Man, there's some deep stuff going on. What delay means. What expectation means. Like delay. One of the deadliest things that we've used against the system here is delay. They do stuff all the time. They thought they would do this in California, they would do this here, they would do that. And they figured that we'll wear them down, we'll make them crazy, we'll do this and we'll do that, right? And they're the ones that's gone crazy. They have technically, whether it doesn't make any difference whether other people recognize it or not. We ran the white man crazy. And the Zionists with him. Yeah. And everything is going for instance, if you take our allies, our behavior is in sync with our allies or people who our behavior is in sync with Palestine. Palestine is surrounded on they can't, hey man, it is a miracle how whatever they do, right? They doing it. And then even if the Zionists go catch everybody that broke out of prison because they broke out of the penitentiary with everything, you know what I mean, against them. The most secure Zionist prison in the world. And they had everything but moats under the ground. They had dogs, right? When you look at what they had, okay, they had it all. And they got out of that penitentiary. What is, good God Almighty. You talking about Shawshank Redemption. Remember, they had the spoon, had the naked white lady there and a spoon behind it. And he dug out that's why everybody relates to Shawshank Redemption. And that, hey man, or old spoon, how you gonna dig out of that whole penitentiary? You talking about patience. What are you gonna do with the dirt? Are you going to flush it a little bit down the toilet? Do you ever go outside? How often do you go outside? You know what I mean? And if you do go outside, are you on concrete or are you on grass or what have you? You know, Allah knows best, but in them maximum security penitentiary, I don't believe, where did the dirt go when they talk? But anyway, that's the same position we're in. You got to look at, we are surrounded. 99.7 or 8%. I mean, they call it, we're going to wake that nigga up and put him to sleep. In other words, we're going to 24-hour a day. And I play with it. And that makes people uncomfortable. Well, how about a little privacy, boss man? Who needs privacy? You know, what I'm trying to say is that with a certain attitude, with those other attitudes, with the militant attitude, with an attitude of compassion and love and knowing that you're going to, you trust in Allah, that Allah got you covered and that's it. Okay? That means that all the things that a person would do or think they need to do, Allah takes care of it. And in this go round, we really into that. Because see, before, during the last 10 years, we asked Allah, oh Allah, let us just, like Abraham said, you don't believe? Yes, I want to be able to tell the people, look, I saw this myself. You know what I mean? That's what Abraham is not saying. I don't believe. I got to knock down this guy, that guy. Hey, I got it covered. But I just want to be able to tell the people, I saw this myself. I know you know what I mean? And That's good for his self-esteem that I know what I'm talking about, right? Now, Allah could give him that feeling, but he wants it that way, and Allah said, go ahead, I hook you up like that. That's a similar thing to what we've been doing. You know, that, and the longer you go along, the smaller, like if you take Hashem, Abdul Malik, them, I used to refer to them as high school Negroes. Absolutely not. Elementary school Negroes. Elementary maximum. It's like they're beginning to look like children because their behavior is like children, right? They look like high school Negroes. That was on our literature 20 years ago. They haven't moved. We have. See, 20 years ago, this language that we're using now is very similar. But we've had more experiences and we've moved ahead. And it's now that Allah allow you to understand that you have had a certain effect on the whole movement in the United States and a movement around the world. Don't you think that, first of all, why would they cut off us going to England? I haven't been to England since I don't know when. And they had our CDs and pictures and everything from Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui's time. Last time I was over there in 2006. Good God Almighty, that's a while back. Okay. But the things that we were talking about then, they're just, let's say if we're 20 years in front of everybody, that would be reasonable. That means the people that's on the road, that's traveling. That means that as a movement, we're 20 years at least ahead of everybody. That's because of the contact. Islam is a contact sport. Yeah, the more contact you have, the more game you get. You know, the harder you get hit, the more you got to come up and, yeah, that was a nice hit there. But I know about that from now on. And you get better and better and better. That's what's happening with us. Delay has been a big part of it. We even use delay hey, just wait till tomorrow or the day after. That's delay. There's something specific. And now it's not in months and years, it's in days. It's in days. Like just 2 days ago, we was going to do certain things with some of the people we should know. We ain't doing it. No. If you ain't got it by now, goodbye. Forget it. Yeah, just keep it. Mind you, you know what's going on. And see, so we're more in a position of not putting an obligation on people, but there comes a time when things are so clear and so evident that if nobody responds, hey, that's good for you. Don't have nothing to do with me. If you too dumb, if you put your wife and your children and your whole being in that bum's hands, and he show you, I mean, every other day. It ain't like the old stuff we used to talk about. It's all brand new, right? And we've been talking about Vietnam and people trying to get on helicopters to get away and running off from Korea, whatever it is, right? That's one thing. That was way back, that's almost 50 years ago. 40, yeah, almost, well, just 46, 47 years. 75? Yeah, that's a while back. Okay. Now look at the difference between that. Look at 1968, the Tet Offensive. And we talk about this stuff all the time. What do they say? The center, things fall apart. The center cannot hold what's going on right now. That's why the Quran is a living book. I'm telling you, so many ayats jump out at you during this period. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold what's happening right in front of you. And you almost can't do nothing. You say, I got to sit back and watch this, because actually it's really happening. At least people are pretending. The TV is acting like the people is really on the wheels of the plane, and the plane takes off and runs them over, stuff like that. That actually is happening. And that these people are telling everybody how much they love them, and they blow up 7 of their children. 7, right? And they was lying. Of course they're lying. And anything else. And the stuff is so funny about France, Australia, the USA, and just sprinkle a little Chinese stuff in there. I want to get a message to the Chinese in a hurry. Just relax, take it easy. Not go back into the old bossy stuff, but just don't give him no excuse, right? The Chinamans, right now. Why? Because boss man is a downhill runner. Don't get in his way or block his descent. Don't give him no reason to say anything. Just say, oh, bossy, you can kind of grease the pole a little bit and the highway trying to make a turn and run. Just do that stuff. The Chinese right now should smile. Just, oh, bossy, we sure feel bad you're having all that trouble. Right? Don't give them nothing to hold on to. Nothing. Okay? And now what it is they might be too smart to do that. Although that's what they should do. They can't hurt themselves. They'd have to just take poison or something to hurt the way it is going now. But we have to encourage them that there's a transition going on in the world. You see what's happening to them. You do right like you was back in the 70s and 80s and all that. You just keep doing that. Or go back to that with all the wealth you've acquired, and you'll be around a while. You may be around 4,000, 5,000 years, like y'all been here that long anyway, right? They have been here, right? Just you got to do right. Put no Chinese colonialism and all that mess. If you do, you can come up in 40 years and you can go down in 5. And the world will still be, well, it might still be here. But anyway, delay with expectations. We have been delaying, systematic delay, but we have had expectations. And guess what? We've talked about what we expect from them. We have said specifically, we have mentioned discombobulation, right? They don't use that word much, but we use it all the time, right? The boss man technically the struggle is all over, and we pulling back, just staying out of his way, because he's a downhill runner. Don't get in the way and slow him down, right? Let him go. Let him go. Boss man. And then his allies, France, and all of that stuff. You couldn't sit back and plan that. You couldn't, what's happening to him, you couldn't, I mean, we wouldn't even, it's more like, I'm going to slow down on the doers because I want to give them at least chance to hit the ground. I'm telling you, we would have to call this a trip. This is a trip, a real live trip that Boss Man is, and see, him and the Zionists, Boss Man and the Zionists, they similar, but the Zionists is worse. The Zionists ain't nothing funny with the Zionists. Well, ain't nothing funny with Boss Man, but the Zionists, they don't put up with that nigga stuff and this all that. They be mad. And guess what? They're real mad now, but it's too late. Ain't nothing they can do about it. That's part of the struggle. Yeah, old Zionists, you're talking that last week. What's going on now? And the world is changing. Even with us, the world is changing. You know, no matter how much this stuff is diverted, we could play our old videos from years ago and they say the same thing that we say now because it's repetitive. It's repetitive. So we may say 95, 20 years ago, then 95.1 or 2 as we go along. It's the same thing. It's just repetitive. Why? Because when you get somebody's number, you got their number. That's the way it is. We got Boss Man's number. And we didn't measure him off. We hit him every time, we just bam! Ain't nothing he can do about it. But do right, and that's not, I'm not saying it's impossible. But how many people have done right in history? You know. So basically our program is to allow the system to discombobulate and help the people reassemble the system of life. We make dua that this happens before Boss Man really makes it bad. What I mean to say is, we always talk about the point of no return on a journey. Well, on the earth also. That's why in the last couple of years, in the last couple of months, it's clear that you can't. Before we felt like, well, we got a little time to do this. We got a little. Don't look like it now. I mean, we're just using history and momentum. You know, momentum, acceleration, deceleration. Is things slowing down, or is it? This kind of news used to come every so many years, then it would come every so many months, and now it's almost something every day. You see what I mean? It's almost every day. If it gets to be a week without a big dynamic thing going on, this stuff is accelerated. And that's why we're still working on our plan, because sometimes your plan, with things changing, it becomes obsolete. Your plan becomes obsolete. And you're thinking a lot that your plan is obsolete, so you don't want to get started on something and it's obsolete. You know what I mean? That is very important. So technically between us, that's what we're working on right now, is that a program that means you have to work with the basics, kind of like what we've been doing, work with the big basics, because the big basics don't become obsolete. What I mean is, in forecastability, what is bound to happen where we can kind of converge on a certain point is understanding Quran and Hadith. Because remember, some of the writings that we deal with, it says that if you got these things right, certain things like tafweed, and what have you, rida and tafweed, it's like you're living amongst the people of old, and you see what's happening to them, right, way back then, and you hear what's going on. It's like you're right there with them. This is what the religious writings say. We've read it many times. That's the period we're in right now. That's really something when you can associate those religious transitional periods. This is one of those. Okay. So planning or strategic planning is not difficult. What are the things that always are present during those times? What is always needed during those times? So when we look ahead, inshallah, we'll be reasonable. And the other secret is we'll ask Allah. Yeah. I don't even want to mention it, but I mentioned something like it's a dumb Negro thing. It's just dumb. That you ask Allah, this is what a dumb Negro would do. Oh Allah, just let me tussle with these niggas and let me do it. And you just spot me, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And then that's the way, see, Allah will create illusions in your dumb mind, and you'll be thinking, because see, you want to show sometime, not me anyway, you want to show them niggas that, hey man, if you think you and your dumb, fat, sloppy wife is something and you're going to make somebody mad, you niggas are cartoon characters. You're cartoon characters. Really, really, really cartoon characters. But when they studied other people, that stuff run them, they would make them so mad. Like, who's going to be doing stuff like we do and allow people to assault them or take their property? Just imagine that you can't take their property. It's against the law that you make them break the law. And you got Baba Clune sitting right there, and you say, Baba Clune, they going to take the property out there in Oakland. No, it's Baba Clune, and you keep insisting. And before you know it, that's what they do. With no paperwork, no nothing. And you got paperwork in the court saying that they can't do that. It's just, they all trapped. And okay, so you're gonna do nothing about it? No problem. We're just gonna write about it, put books about it, and forget it. Just think now, we got stuff to come out that's similar to As-Sabiqun back in those days, but it's for modern times and for the future. Yeah. Yep. And see, yes, go ahead.
I was just thinking about, I was reading something it's been a while back, where Malcolm was telling Alex Haley something similar. He's like, man, we got to hurry up because, what things are moving so fast at his time that he
Need to get this book out, right? Okay.
Things are happening.
Right. And that was for his time, he was exactly right. He was exactly right because he knew the environment that he was living in and that the people that he was a part of are not going to let between those people and boss man, which you got to remember now, he knows the connection now. He knows how all of this is working now. He didn't picked up on everything during his time. He didn't picked up on it. And that's why when I think him and King had a meeting, so he told King, he said, you're a glorious fool. He called him something like that, talking to King. He said, but one thing about it, me and you, we're dead men. That was his last meeting. He was his meeting with Dr. King. He said, me and you, we're not gonna, hey, right? Now, what did Martin Luther King say the next day he was killed? Longevity has its place. But he knew he wasn't going to get into that. Longevity gives you the time to implement strategy and to do all kind of things. Suppose you get that time where you can implement and test and try all kinds of strategic management principles, right? And that's the reason you don't do anything like, oh, I'm going to make sure I don't get killed. No, you're not going to live like that. You're going to live just like you live, but that's where that trust in Allah comes, that Allah going to give you the time, because that's what the people need. They need somebody to pull through, because everybody else, they slaughter, they kill, and they sell out. So they're going to have to have, but it's going to be good for one nigga to come through and do all of that stuff and slap boss man upside the head and do this and do that and tell him all kind of old dumb stuff, and he'll act like to them he's paralyzed. The system is paralyzed. You think if they wasn't paralyzed, they wouldn't do nothing? Who you talking to, nigga? Well, we got 50 agencies. We got CIA, FBI. We'll burn your behind in 20 seconds or less. We'll burn your butt long range. You won't even know. We'll push a button and poof, you gone. Well, push it, boss man. He's paralyzed. He can't. He's sitting there. Right? I'm telling you. That's what's happening right this minute, and it's been going on. What's holding boss man back? How many people in history has sit there and just brushing their teeth and eating salad and they're calling the round, boss man, you're gonna be gone in the third round on this fight? Oh boy. Oh no, boss man. Look like this is round one. I think you're going to take one blow and you're going to hit the dirt on this ball, and you ain't never wrong. You're never wrong. No. Let me rephrase that. In the context of human right and wrong, you're not, you know what I mean? Hey, so let's pick it up a little bit. This is the anniversary of the Iran-Iraq war. This war, over 1 million people was killed. But Iran held on. Not only did it hold on, but it is out maneuvered and outproduced. Iran is an efficient society. I know a lot of them, they don't think they're doing too well, but they're not looking at everybody else. That's why I tell them when I say, you think you're not doing too good, look at everybody else. And everybody wants to smash them out, attack them. But that first attack, when it really meant everything, that's the one they survived. They probably, Allah knows best, will probably not have to go through any war. You know what I mean? They gave up 1 million people and they showed their stuff. Hey man, I'm telling you, we believed in that movement all the time. And we would tell them that hey, you're going to be all right. And they did wind up all right. Now, no, they wound up all right with poison gas, with the U.S. telling them everything, they satellite, stuff to tell them they're going to be troop movement here, troop movement there, and they survived. That's the same thing we're doing. The boss man know everything we do. He know everything about us except what to do. Boss man don't know it. Boss man is discombobulated. He's confused. He don't know because if I heard that nigga now talking about luck being bad, because I didn't talk about jinxes and stuff. No, I didn't talk. I said Iran got a jinx on you. And you don't know it, and they don't know it. How much of that thinking is going? You think they're not going to listen to nothing? How much of that goes into their thinking when they getting ready to do something to Iran? Nigga, that ain't never been wrong so far. You know what I mean? I want you to think about it. This nigga is 40-something years, and he don't make no mistake. And them, he's saying, they got a jinx on. Now, we don't believe in no jinx. But at the same time, right? And they look at everything they try to do to Iran, right? And it ain't working. It makes them stronger. And the strongest, the most modern, up-to-date, I'm really proud of them. And they're working at lower efficiency than they could. Remember, they got an internal team working against them. They got a team telling on them about nuclear stuff, who's really, They got munafiqeen, and they got some of the people that we know. What do you think? Can you imagine they're surviving with some of their top people, tattletales? Some of the people call right here. We want you to do this. Oh, okay. And I already know who they are. So if they put me on, I'm going to say, we want to thank the people of Iran for this, that, and another. And pretty soon, they say, we're going to put it on a delay. You ever see them? Yes, they do. We're going to put it on a delay so they can cut that out. And then pretty soon, it won't call anymore. And then they call. We done talked about this 1,000 times. Then they send somebody that you know real well, and they want to talk. We told them to sit right there in the park around the corner. Where do you go to that park? DuPont Park? Yeah. And we sit there. Yeah, for DuPont Park. See? And notebook out. Well, isn't that? I said, that ain't happening. But they look, so I said, that ain't nothing. I don't worry about that. And they close up, they don't want to hear that. They come to get from me what they want to hear, because they know if they have a dumb feeling, and the government had that dumb feeling too. If they can convince me, they think of giving the wrong analysis, then since I'm wrong, then the thing that I analyze is going to come out wrong. These people is dumb. They're crazy as they can be. But that's part of the whole that we didn't put a jinx on the white. We might as well tell it like it is. We done jinxed the old boss man. We done jinxed his behind, and he ain't nothing he can do. And we're not accepting anything, but since the jinx is so serious, that's why we say on a regular basis, look, we're not going to do what you want us to do unless you sit right down, now the white man lie all the time, and we're going to have an agreement. Now, he always is fork-tongued, it's stuff like that. But he has to recognize, well, nigga, you've been right all this time, so that's what he's going to have to do. That's why we just having a good time till he come around. You come around, that fire get to biting at your butt and snipping at you, and you get to freezing to death over here, burning up over here, and drowning. You'll come around. Boss man will be around. I said, but you wait too long. People in the books, they usually wait around too long, before they come around. So you can do what you want. That's our attitude to him. We're not going to make a specific move until you recognize what we've been telling you is right. And you can do it or you cannot do it. You can wait, it's going to heat up more. Now, see, just remember a few years ago, we said we're going to do these things and we're going to take credit for all of this stuff. Remember that? That's what we're doing. Some of it is real, but he don't know the part that's real and the part you're taking credit for. He can't separate it because it's all one big bundle of happenings to him. He don't have enough sense to say, the nigga had something to do with this, but he didn't have nothing to do with that. Then he goes sit down a minute. He said, wait just a minute. No. He's discombobulated. He's confused. He's confused. Everything he do is confusion. Bad confusion. You're going to leave Afghanistan? Well, take your time. No, we're going to run away and leave right away. And he run away, leave right away, and kill up everybody and say somebody else did it and they was this, that. Then he got to come back. Well, to tell you the truth, this is the truth, I'm telling you now. Right? He didn't say a mistake, some old dumb thing that we killed 7 children, that we just killed them. That's all. We just killed them. And the people, the men, the grown folks was our allies. They were working with us. So we killed them too. And the rest of y'all can't come. Okay, 5 or 10 of you going to get over here. But the rest of y'all stay there with Taliban. They know what you do with your bad behind. Collaborators. Anyway, this world that we're living in is headed in our direction. That's the way it's headed. There's no getting around it. You got to remember, Iran, Syria, we'll skip Libya for now, but Lebanon, it seems like it's little, but when Hezbollah gets to manage, right, a whole shipload, it must be, I don't know how many truckloads, and Lebanon don't have but 3 or 4 million people, so it's like all those people coming to D.C., all that, and then they got others on the way. So you have to remember, and yesterday also was a celebration of the new movement in not just what's the homeboy is right there next door to everybody. Yemen, so and so Al Houthi. They I saw their lecture the other day. Good lecture. They've been at war for 7 years. 7 years. And without the things that we've recommended, like speedboats and feeding the people, which just hold on a minute. So if you take Iran, Iraq, they destroyed, first years they bombed Iran. The second go round, they come back twice at Iraq. Syria is laid waste. But when you have to rebuild a city, just think that they have to rebuild all of what they had before was old infrastructure. So they'll have to bulldoze everything. And all of that will be, hopefully, if they got any sense, will be 21st century tech. This is water for purification, sewers and all of that, They'll run the sewers and run them out to the desert and pump all that doo-doo out on the top of the desert, right? Come by, let it dry out, and come back and plant the most wonderful crops you ever seen. The best crops grow in that. And the Chinese, even in the old days, they used to go by with a bucket of urine and stuff and pour it on the flowers and the plants. Yep. Anyway, they don't throw any of that stuff away. Neither do the Germans. When I was in Germany, they still in the 70s, they used to have them big wagons. They was regular wagons with a big cylinder on it, and you could see the steam coming out of it. And it had big rubber tires, but it was horses drawing them. And they would go to the doo-doo house, and fill it up with doo-doo. And they'd go out and put it up. See, in Germany, in the winter, no problem. But in the spring, when them fields thaw out, it smells like, you know what, right today in Germany. Because they use that. That's wonderful. Okay, I see it's getting late. We made duas, if everybody remember. Oh Allah, make a fool out of boss man. Laugh at him, discombobulate him. Does anybody remember? Those are duas, specifically duas that we made. Okay. It's about that time. Strategic behavior, we'll go through all of that. Actually, we'll just go through this again. We'll condense it for Juma and other classes. But that's the theme for this period of time. The theme is that we've already been successful on what we've been very successful. And so however we write it or put it out, those who show the way and those who lead the way, I think we'll be doing both jobs. Because we're showing the way by our behavior. We're showing the people. And we'll lead the way by giving the proper instruction. Yeah. When Allah hook it up, it's hooked up. There's no loss in this one. Boss man is in trouble, and I mean big trouble. Our boss man and the Zionists, which is also kind of a little bossy, but they losing their shine. Both of them losing their shine. In a hurry. So, O Allah, we seek thy refuge from anxiety and grief, lack of strength and laziness, cowardice and niggardliness. We seek thy refuge from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. O Allah, suffice us with what is lawful, keep from us what is prohibited. With thy grace, make us free from want of what is besides it. Ameen.